Hello everyone, this is another Liberty Topstring tutorial. This is a Kinetik 2 and I have 9 diamond memory mesh. So this is an 8 diamond Liberty Topstring tutorial. You can see right here I have folded over on my 8 diamond row, but I've got 2 rows folded over. Obviously, as always, I am stringing on the rough side. Okay, so in this case, instead of using, a lot of times I'll use the second hole in the plastic instead of the first for a lot of the top strings, depending on the head and the pocket shape that I'm looking for and the mesh that I'm using. In this case, I'm actually going to be using holes number 3 and holes number 3 and 2 on both sides and the sidewall itself. So I'm going to start here. I'm going outside in through the, stop making that noise, phone. I'm going outside in through the plastic, front to back through the mesh, outside in through the plastic, front to back through the mesh. Just going to get that close. I'm not tightening it just yet. And then outside in one more time, getting that kind of close. And now inside out through hole number 2. All of those first couple of outside ins through the plastic was in sidewall hole number 3. So right now I am going to just make sure the mesh is sitting exactly where I want it to sit. And now I'm going to tighten it down like that. That's the loop number 1, tightening, pulling on loop number 2. Okay, and as we switch views here. Okay, so with an 8 diamond top string and 6 holes, it's the same. I'm going through the same area right here. So this is hole number 1 going in that direction. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I've got those 2 options in this shifted 8 diamond top string. I'm going to go through, going in that direction. If I count 1, 2, I'm going through the second to second to second to second all the way across. So back to front through the mesh, front to back through the plastic. I'm not pulling everything tight just yet. So skip that one. So the first, second going in that direction. Back to front through the second hole. Front to back through the plastic. Back to front. Front to back. 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 Back to front. Now, because I've got 1 hole left over here on this side right there, instead of going through that hole of the mesh, I'm going inside out to the second hole of the plastic on the opposite side wall that I started. I'm going to go outside in through hole number 3, front to back through the mesh, outside in through that same hole, front to back through the mesh, and I'm going to go outside in one more time through hole number 3, but now I'm going to go outside in and then inside out back through hole number 2 in the plastic. Yep. So you can see that right there. Sorry about the color. This is a white on white on white string job for a client, and so I figured I'd still string it. So now everything is nice and loose, but everything is where I want it. So now is when I tighten. I'm trying to keep everything extremely tight. I don't want to let anything get loose all the way back. I want to keep everything tight, tight, tight all the way through. So now I'm over here on this side. I'm going to try to tighten loop number 1. Hopefully you can see that. Now that I let go, and there was a little bit of looseness, so I want to try and get that nice and tight again. So while I'm holding tension here with my thumb and forefinger, now I pull it back over here And even though that opened back up again a little bit, but it's still very tight right there. So I'm going to hold that. Now I'm going to tighten loop number 2. There we go. Make sure that is super tight as always. Okay, so now going back. Now you can kind of see it a little bit, so you can see it right here. So that is all of hole number 1. Can't really see, so counting from here, I'm just going from underneath to show you through the video. That would be hole number 1, that's hole number 2. So I'm counting 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, going in that direction. So from starting here, I'm going to be going through the hole in the opposite, in that direction. I'm going through the hole that is now free. So back to front through the mesh, front to back through that hole of the plastic, and now I'm going to try to keep everything a little bit tighter as I go along. Back to front through the mesh, front to back through the plastic, back to front, front to back, back to front, front to back. It's always fun trying to do this a little bit differently because the camera is actually sitting kind of exactly where my face and head would be while I'm really stringing this. Okay, so back to front through the mesh, while finishing up here, front to back through the plastic, back to front through that hole there in the plastic. Now, there's so much more room on this head in the Kinetik 2 than there has been in some of the past heads, so you can actually see it. I'm going to be going through inside out twice through this hole, this same hole here. Actually, hopefully I can make this visible, make it work a little bit. So I'm going to go inside out through hole number 2 in the plastic. And you can see from this angle, you can see there's that gap. I'm not going to be going through the mesh again. I'm just going to pull that kind of tight. I'm going to go through that gap and go inside out through that same hole, hole number 2 in the sidewall. Pull it tight. Pull it tight again. Okay, there we go. So I am going to also, while we're here, I might as well show a little bit more about how exactly I keep all of my knots as tight as I do, because I'd like to think that I keep these knots extremely tight. That one's one thing, because that's where I started. How do you finish your knots and keep them close to the plastic itself? Maybe I'll make this its own, I'll just cut this up and copy and paste it and make it its own video. So we'll see what happens. Okay, so I want to basically do a double knot like that. I want to finish it off, but I want to make it as close as possible to the hole, so there's no chance that it goes right through, but also if the closer it is to the hole, the less likelihood there's anything will ever get loose. So I am going to, in this case, I'm grabbing with my, like right there, I've got it wrapped around my middle finger, but I'm grabbing with my thumb and forefinger too. So I'm taking the loop and I'm just going to wrap around the string as you would make a double knot. Let's see if I can focus. Come on, there we go. Okay, so you can see that. So I'm keeping tension on that bit right there. I'm trying to make sure it focuses. So you see it's set up like that, but I'm going to start trying to pull on this on the end, and now I'm going to use my thumb and forefinger, and I'm basically trying to pinch that string coming out of the plastic. If you can kind of see it, I'm trying to pinch that pretty much as close as I can to the plastic. So I've got the double loops, that's already done. So now, actually, part of what I do is I don't just use the skin. I'm trying to use this, I don't have, my nails aren't too great right now, but I'm trying to use my nails to make that pinch so that my fingers will not move. So I know this is kind of tight and tough to see, or tough and tight to see, but I'm going to try to use my nails, and now I'm just pulling on the other end This is the end there, the tip. And I'm trying to get it to get close. Now there comes a point where I'm not even trying to pinch anymore. I'm just trying to use my fingernail right there on that little spot. I'm trying to pinch it down there, and I can kind of pull against, I'm pulling against the string, but my nail is against the, my nail is against the string, but I'm also pulling against the pressure that my nail and my finger is putting against it. So this is my first time trying to figure out how to explain this. So please forgive me if it kind of doesn't make sense, because I'm kind of first time that I've ever really, legitimately tried to explain it. But hopefully that helps. I will continue to make that video and continue to try and make it a little bit easier to understand. So I know in the past, I have done this, but I haven't really made it look like, or flip the stick around so you can kind of see what it looks like when you're done. That's what it looks like when you're done on the front side, because I never flipped that around before. So let's see, if I go like this, is that a thumbs up? That looks like a thumbs up. Looks like a thumbs down to me because my camera's upside down, but thumbs up. Any questions, hit me up in the comments, shoot me a DM. But this, as always, this has really served me well. I hope it serves you well too. And in the meantime, keep stringing.